So on yesterday's show, I actually did a video about a young man who confronted Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson's debate was 20 atheists, and he actually spoke out. So he has did a short video calling out Jubilee. Now, the thing is, the YouTube video in which we did the Jubilee commentary, unfortunately, was hit couple times with copyright. So had to do a little editing here and there. And, just so the full video is still up on a Rumble in the Jungle. So there you go. But what I want to say to all of you is this young man is going to speak out. So first of all, let's go ahead and hear his perspective and point of view. I know even Do Dissidents talked a little bit about this. So let's go ahead and talk about it and bring it up in real time, shall we? I think so. Oops. Let me go ahead and hit the share button on this one. Sorry about that, folks. Want to make sure that we're correct and live and direct. So there you go. Let's go and play this video. So this is the young man who confronted Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, that was me. I want to give some background. First of all, before the production, people all got emails, invitations where the production title was One Christian versus 20 or 25 atheists. Everyone got that email, at least on the atheist side. Of course, I don't know what personal emails they sent to Jordan Peterson, but before production, they announced once again the production title as being One Christian versus 20 atheists. Jordan Peterson actually responded and actually, I think, giggled and said, well, some people don't consider me to be a Christian. He embraced the label before the filming, right? I really think he just had something like a Joe Biden moment. He didn't really understand what it meant to say, yes, I'll be that one Christian in your video. If he was responsible, he would have declined. If he doesn't label himself as a Christian, like he didn't really answer my question, like whether he was a Christian or not, then he should have never entered the arena.
Well, hold on. So here's the thing. I think because I watched Do Dissidents yesterday, and they did a great job breaking it down. Jordan Peterson many years ago is different than the Jordan Peterson now. Okay, I mean, let's be clear on that. And they even played a video of Jordan Peterson praying with Anyways, no, enough of that. Look, here's the thing. I understand the power of prayer and what people need to do for faith and everything else. But I would give out this warning to people is that Jordan Peterson has said a couple times, like, yeah, I'm not a Christian, but yet he has enacted and portrayed ways in which he seems to be following that faith. All right. And if that's the case, then go ahead, embrace it. Then, I mean, if it's who you are, it's who you are, because I know for a fact the Jordan Peterson a few years ago is not the same one that we see now before us. There's a little bit of a difference.
And yeah, the whole Mary worship thing, all I was trying to show there is that you play with words. You're going to say stuff like, Catholics worship the saints and Mary and their Pope, right? Which they don't want to, they're not inclined to say that. Maybe there's a technical sense in which they worship them. That's not the point. That's not where he got owned. He got owned for accepting to be the one Christian and then saying in the production, yeah, I'm not telling you that I'm a Christian. And for those that don't know, Jubilee changed the title after public release. They got the backlash. Why did you invite Jordan Peterson to do the whole one Christian versus 20 atheists? He's barely a Christian, if not even. So I understand why Jubilee changed the title, although that makes my point, kind of diminishes my point. But everybody, I think the top comment is that, yeah, they changed the title of the video. But at the same time, it's hard to blame Jubilee completely. I mean, maybe they made a mistake. I wouldn't say that. If you look at Jordan Peterson's content very closely, especially the last couple of months, he's been saying stuff like, yeah, there's a sense in which Christianity is true, or yes, Jesus rose from the dead. In fact, if you took a video camera 2,000 years ago outside of his tomb, maybe a person would come out.
I want to be clear.
Now, hold on. Prim 54. There's a difference between embracing faith and using faith to get clicks. And you know what? Very, very, very true, Prim 54. I think believing in something is I will not mock a person for doing what they believe in, because there have been some very dark moments where I'm like, oh, please get me out of this. Hey, we've all had those moments. Or is it that we see something so joyous and say, oh, thank you, whoever's up there, thank you so much. We've all had those moments. I don't care. We've all had those moments where like, oh, thank goodness. Thank God, whatever. It is what it is. But, what I find sickening is that there are people out there on social media who will use faith or other institutions as a way to get clicks and not believe in the words. And I'm just going to say this. I don't know weights, all of us at the end. I don't know when, we all have an expiration date, don't go before your time, but we all have an expiration date. I don't know what lies before us at the end. Either it's utter nothingness or a whole new adventure altogether. But I think the main goal, the happiness of life, is to try and make the world a better place while you're still in it before you leave. And in turn, try and live a good life as much as you can. Whether you contribute a little bit or whatever, that's my own personal philosophy. And you know what? I'm willing to bet there's a million people who will disagree with me, and that's fine. That's just how I view the world. Try and do good, avoid trouble as much as you can, but sometimes trouble will find you.
What is the God you believe in?
I think that the claim that Christ is the embodiment of the prophet and the laws, I think that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
That's complicated. It's very, very complicated, but I think it's true.
so you believe that Jesus was
God?
God?
Yeah.
I feel sorry for the guy that was interviewing him, right? He had asked multiple times. He was trying to get clarification, and he was so sweet about doing it. I just wasn't sweet about it. I'm tired of the BS, right? Like, I'm tired of the, am I a Christian? What does it mean? What does it all mean? But yeah, I believe, or maybe I don't. Like, it's bullshit. Stop. Be straight with the answer. I'm just going to be assertive about it. That guy was just being nice. I'm just not.
Put it this way.
Yeah.
If I went back in time with a Panasonic video camera and put that camera in front of the tomb of Joseph of Arimathea, would the little LCD screen show a man walk out of that tomb?
I would suspect yes.
So that to me seems like a belief in the historical event of the resurrection, or at least of Jesus leaving the tomb, which means that when somebody says, do you believe that Jesus rose from the dead? It doesn't seem clear to me why you're not able to just say, it would seem to me yes.
And look, again, Alex O'Connor being very sweet, cordial. You can tell he's frustrated. But again, civil. I'm not civil because I'm sick and tired of the BS. I think even Alex is sick and tired of the BS. He's just a nice person. I'm not. Most people are sick and tired of it. Just be straight with the answer. Stop confusing people. And no, I do not blame Jubilee for inviting you because you're as clear as mud. And it looks like you are a Christian if you think this guy is God and he rose from the dead. So I would say Jordan Peterson is the one that's mostly at fault, right? And Jubilee is suffering because he accepted the whole gig.
First, number one, shout out to the kid. I think this guy has a huge future ahead of him in regards to social media. And you know what? I respect the courage. I respect what he said. And you know what? Look, he made Jordan Peterson feel uncomfortable. That's fine. That's A-okay. Sometimes you got to challenge a person. And I guess Jordan wasn't ready for what this kid was about to dish to him. And if you're going to be in the realm of media, like how we are, you got to be ready to be challenged critically. I have said before a long time, I'm a supporter of third parties and independents. And I have been called out like, okay, well, why do you support third parties and independents? Why this? Why that? And look, to be clear, hell, there was a point where I really thought the Democrats could really reform themselves. Dumb mistake on my part, not doing that again. And, there was a small moment, very small moment where I thought, okay, well, maybe Trump can shake things up. Well, he's shaking things up, but it ain't going to be pretty. It ain't going to be cash money. But nonetheless, I will go on to say that if you are going to be in this sphere, and this is my warning, not my warning, but my advice to all of you, my viewing audience, don't ever be hypnotized by an influencer or somebody who has millions of followers. Always challenge critically. Always think. Always look past the shininess. Always look past the followers. Always look past it and understand where is the person consistent on. Nobody's perfect. Nobody is perfect in any which way. But we do have to have some accountability. And Peterson, if he didn't like what this kid was dishing, well, then stay out of the kitchen. I'm pretty sure Gordon Ramsay would tell him to F off. As he should.